All right, let's kick things off, shall we? We've got the Harley-Davidson Q4 2024 earnings call transcript in front of us, ready to unpack it all.
Yeah, I'm really curious to dig into this one.
Me too, especially with those redesigned touring models hitting the market.
Right, lots of buzz around those, and the whole industry is kind of facing some headwinds right now.
Exactly. So first things first, the headline numbers.
Well, revenue took a hit, down about 50% year over year, and they're operating at a loss this quarter.
Oof, that's gotta sting.
Yeah, but, context is key.
True.
The entire motorcycle market is down, and Harley's actually outperforming some of its competitors.
Interesting. So they're down, but not out.
Not by a long shot. They're holding their own, especially in their core touring segment.
That's where those redesigned street glides and road glides come in, right?
Exactly. They were a big driver of sales, especially in the US.
I bet. Those bikes are sweet.
Yeah, they're getting rave reviews. People are loving them.
So how did those new models impact their market share?
Well, buckle up, because Harley-Davidson now holds a whopping 75% of the US touring market.
75%. Wow. That's massive.
It's their highest share since 2019.
It's like they've got a lock on that segment.
It's that brand loyalty for you.
Makes sense. People trust Harley-Davidson.
Exactly. They've been building these bikes for over a century, and they know what they're doing.
But it's not just about the bikes themselves, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Harley-Davidson's really good at cultivating that whole lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going beyond just selling motorcycles.
So what else are they up to?
Well, they're expanding their apparel line, doing more collaborations like that one with Champion last year.
Yeah, I saw that.
Pretty cool stuff.
And they're investing heavily in events like the Homecoming in Milwaukee, which is like a giant party for Harley-Davidson enthusiasts.
Didn't that draw over 60,000 people last year?
Something like that. It's a big deal.
That's insane. And they're also doing a lot to get new riders on board, right? Like with that riding academy. Absolutely. They actually just celebrated training their 1 millionth rider through that program.
Wow, 1 million. That's impressive.
It's the largest motorcycle riding academy in the US.
So they're clearly committed to growing the rider community.
Yeah, they're playing the long game.
But let's be honest, there's one big elephant in the room, LiveWire.
Ah, yes, the electric motorcycle division.
It's been a bit of a struggle for them so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, they're still burning through cash. And EV adoption rates are just not where they need to be for it to really take off.
It feels like a risky bet, especially in this economic climate.
It is a risk, but they are taking steps to streamline the business and refocus their product portfolio.
Like what?
Well, they've got a new electric maxi-scooter in the works for the European market.
Interesting. So they're not giving up on LiveWire just yet.
Not at all. They're committed to making it work.
All right, well, we'll see how that plays out. But for now, let's shift gears and talk about Harley-Davidson's overall financial picture. What are they projecting for 2025?
Well, they're forecasting flat retail sales for the year, which isn't exactly stellar.
Yeah, this economy is making everyone a bit cautious.
Exactly. But they are projecting an operating income margin of between 7 and 8%.
So not amazing, but not terrible either.
Right. It's a realistic outlook given the current market conditions.
And of course, we can't forget about those tariffs looming over everything.
Oh, yeah, those are a big wild card. Nobody knows what's going to happen there.
But Harley-Davidson has made it clear that they're ready to fight back against any discriminatory tariffs in Europe.
Absolutely. They're not going to take it lying down.
Good for them. But at the end of the day, the big question is, can they achieve that long-term goal of a 15% operating margin?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is. And honestly, I'm not sure. It's going to be tough.
They've got a lot of moving parts to manage. The success of those touring models, the performance of LiveWire, those tariffs. It's a complex equation.
No doubt. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds. But hey, before we dive deeper into the numbers, I think our listeners deserve a little fun.
Oh, you mean our This Is Not Financial Advice segment?
Exactly. So what if Harley-Davidson decided to go all in on their legacy and create a line of ultra-luxury motorcycles?
Whoa, now you're talking like a Rolls-Royce of motorcycle.
Exactly. Limited edition, vintage-inspired, handcrafted masterpieces priced for serious collectors.
I love it. Think hand-stitched leather seats, engraved engine parts, maybe even a concierge service that delivers the bike to you anywhere in the world.
Yes, and a hefty price tag to match.
Yeah.
We're talking 6 figures, easy.
People would be lining up for that.
I think so too. It taps into that desire for exclusivity, for owning a piece of history.
And let's not forget that Made in America appeal. Harley-Davidson is practically synonymous with Americana, and there's a certain romance to that.
Absolutely. They could really capitalize on that nostalgia
Yeah.
and elevate it to a whole new level of luxury.
It's a bold idea, but I think it has potential.
Me too. Just imagine.
Yeah.
A Harley-Davidson that's as coveted as a vintage Ferrari or a Pat Philippe watch.
Now, that's a legacy worth building.
But of course, this is all just hypothetical fun, folks.
Exactly. This is not financial advice. Don't run out and buy Harley-Davidson stock based on our wild ideas.
Do your own research, consult with a financial advisor, and never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Now, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's get back to reality and break down the details of this earnings call.
Sounds good to me. Let's dig in.
So let's dive a bit deeper into some of those key initiatives Harley-Davidson outlined in the call.
All right, I'm ready. What are they doing to kind of tighten their belts and boost those margins?
Well, they're really focused on inventory management, making sure they're not overproducing bikes and ending up with a surplus.
Right, because that can lead to discounts and ultimately hurt their profitability.
Exactly. They're all about keeping those dealer relationships strong as well, ensuring everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, makes sense. Happy dealers, happy customers, happy everyone.
Precisely. And on the topic of happy customers, they're really banking on those redesigned touring models to continue driving sales.
Yeah, those bikes seem to be a real hit, but can they really carry the entire company? What about their other product lines?
Right. Well, they're still pushing their cruiser and sportster models, of course.
But those segments are pretty competitive, aren't they?
They are. And then there's LiveWire, always that big question mark looming.
It does feel like they're kind of spread thin, trying to appeal to everyone at once.
True, but it also shows they're not afraid to adapt. They're trying to cater to the die-hard Harley fans and also attract new riders with different interests.
Yeah, I see that. It's a tough balance for sure. But what about those tariffs? Those are still a major concern, right?
Oh, absolutely. They called them out specifically in the call, expressing concerns about their potential impact, especially in Europe.
So they're not just waiting around to see what happens.
Nope, they're being proactive, advocating for fair trade policies, and even exploring alternative manufacturing locations to kind of mitigate the effects.
Sounds like they're ready for a fight. But what about the big picture? Can Harley-Davidson really reach that ambitious 15% operating margin target they've set?
That's the big question, isn't it? They'll need to see significant improvements across the board.
Yeah, like what specifically?
Well, first and foremost, they need those high-margin touring bikes to keep selling like hotcakes.
Okay, so keep riding that wave. Makes sense. What else?
They got to figure out how to make LiveWire profitable. No easy feat, but crucial if they want to dominate the electric motorcycle market.
True. And then there's those tariffs. If those trade wars escalate, it could really hurt their bottom line.
Absolutely. It's a lot to juggle, that's for sure. But hey, Harley-Davidson has a history of reinvention, right?
Yeah, they've been through tough times before and
Yeah.
always seem to come out swinging. What should our listeners be paying close attention to in the coming months?
I'd say, first off, keep an eye on those touring model sales. Are they continuing to drive growth?
Got it. What else?
Any progress on LiveWire? Are they hitting those cost-cutting targets and moving towards profitability?
Right. And let's not forget the global economic outlook.
Yeah.
If things take a downturn, it could really impact consumer spending and Harley-Davidson's recovery.
Spot on. And of course, any news on those tariffs could send ripples through their stock price.
Okay, so lots to keep an eye on for sure. But before we move on, I want to circle back to your idea about Harley-Davidson launching an ultra-luxury motorcycle line.
Yes.
No.
That out there. This is not financial advice segment.
Exactly. So you really think there's a market for a, let's say, handcrafted Harley with all the bells and whistles?
I think it's a risk worth taking. Imagine a bike built with the finest materials, bespoke design, cutting-edge technology. Be something else.
Talk to me about those bespoke designs. What would make these bikes truly stand out?
Well, think hand-tooled leather seats, engraved chrome accents, custom paint jobs that are like works of art.
Ooh, I like where this is going. I'm picturing a dashboard that's more like a luxury car.
Oh.
Touchscreen interface, premium sound system, even heated grips.
Right. And of course, performance would have to be top-notch. Powerful engine, state-of-the-art suspension, the latest safety features. It'd be a beast on the road.
It'd be like the ultimate expression of Harley-Davidson, blending that classic heritage with modern innovation. But who would they target with this ultra-luxury line?
I'd say celebrities, athletes, high-net-worth individuals, people who want something truly unique and exclusive.
They'd be competing with the Ferraris and Lamborghinis of the world, but with that distinct American swagger.
Exactly. And that made in America aspect would be a huge draw. These bikes would symbolize American craftsmanship and engineering at its finest.
Oh, I can already see the marketing campaign, the Harley-Davidson legacy, reimagined for a new generation of icons, something like that.
Catchy, right. It would be a bold move for sure, but it could pay off big time. Elevate the brand, attract a whole new type of customer.
All right, now let's bring it back down to earth for a second. We're just spitballing here, folks. This is pure speculation, not financial advice.
Right, we're just having a bit of fun. Don't make any investment decisions based on our wild ideas.
Do your own research, consult a financial advisor, and as always, invest responsibly.
All right, disclaimer done. Now let's shift back to the real world and continue dissecting this earnings call. There's still plenty to unpack.
Sounds good to me. Let's get back to business.
Well, we've really dug deep into this Harley-Davidson earnings call.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground. Those strong touring bike sales, the challenges with LiveWire, those tariffs hanging over their heads.
And who knows, maybe Harley is actually listening and taking notes on that ultra-luxury motorcycle idea.
You never know. But all jokes aside, I think the biggest takeaway for me is Harley-Davidson's resilience. They're facing some serious challenges, but they're not giving up.
I agree. They're adapting, they're innovating, they're fighting for their share of the market. It's impressive to see.
They're like that old, reliable motorcycle. Might have a few scratches and dents, but it still runs like a champ.
Exactly. And that's the spirit that's kept them going for all these years. They've faced tough times before, and they'll come out on top again.
So what's the verdict for our listeners? Bullish or bearish on Harley-Davidson?
Well, we're not giving financial advice, as always. But Harley-Davidson is a company worth watching, that's for sure.
They're at a crossroads, that's for sure. But no matter what path they choose, it's going to be an interesting ride.
Absolutely. That's what makes following this company so fascinating. They're not afraid to take risks, to push the boundaries, to redefine what it means to be a Harley rider.
Well said. All right, folks, that's a wrap on this deep dive into Harley-Davidson's Q4 2024 earnings call.
We've crunched the numbers, analyzed the strategies, and even let our imaginations run wild with that luxury motorcycle idea.
Hopefully you've gained some valuable insights along the way.
Remember, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to investing. So stay informed, stay curious, and keep those engines roaring.
Until next time, ride safe and invest wisely.